What's happening, good people? We're gonna get jumping in 1 second. Yo. What's happening? How's everybody doing? Just waiting 1 second. Let a couple more folks jump on. So tonight, because I had somebody reach out and they wanted to get into the conversation of why is it so hard for people to have a healthy co-parenting relationship. And I know we, touched on some of these things, but I don't know if we've specifically went in on this one like that. I know we have talked about things that have led up to that, but we're going to see. But we're going to dive into it in a second. I'm going to see if she's going to jump on. Trying to see where she at. What up, David? Simply Success. Queens G18, what's happening? Miss Bell, what's going on, Queen? Trying to wait to see if she's going to jump on here so we can talk about this. So we'll see. Good evening, King. Good evening. How's everybody doing? That's a great, Miss Bell, what's happening? That's a great eye glam. That's some of it. That's some of it. I'm trying to see if she's gonna get on here. Hold on. I'm blessed, man. No complaints. There she go. See how we can get this. The trade deadline was crazy. Me and you gonna catch up, David. We'll catch up. Here we go.
Hey, friend.
What's happening with you?
Nothing. You caught me at a good time, literally. I was like, when I got your message, I was like, oops. I was leaving out of Walmart.
Yeah, you better be careful out there in them streets, man. I just wanted to, because I know you said you wanted to talk about, dive into this co-parenting situation, man. So, what's been on your heart when it comes to that? Huh?
It's something that's a big struggle. I only know because I went through it with my oldest two for a while. I went through the whole co-parenting, and I'm the type of person is at the end of the day, it's about our kids. I don't care what we have going on. At the end of the day, it's about our kids. But some people are so harped on what happened between each other that they can't allow that to go, and they allow that to roll over to their kids. But what type of fairness it is as an adult to allow what goes on between you and the mother or father of your kid to roll over to your child. I always tell people I feel like it's selfishness. At the end of the day, I was talking to a friend, and he mentioned about I don't want to see her. It'll be hard for me to see her with another man and moved on in another relationship, especially if I know I'm the reason why I did it. So you don't want to co-parent, and you're going to make it hard on your kid not to co-parent because you messed up in the situation. So how is that fair to the child?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so I feel like more, if nothing else, is more, yes, feelings are always involved, of course, whenever the situation may be, but why make it so hard on it? You know what I mean? Why does it have to be so hard to co-parent? And to be fair, and this is only because I see it a lot, you have certain races that can do it easily with no problem at all.
Mm.
But we, as Black people, sometimes make it so hard, you know, or whatever the case may be, we make it so super duper hard to co-parent with each other
Mm-hmm.
because we allow our past situations and people and influences to tell us that just because you aren't together, that you can't co-parent together. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
what we see. You know, it's like a generational curse. We seen our mama be mad at our dad and use it against him and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna let you see the kids," or
Mm-hmm.
"You didn't pay me child support this week. I'm not gonna let you see the kids." So
Mm-hmm.
so basically, you're saying that because I don't pay you for my kids' time, I can't receive it. I I don't care about the child support. I can care less. You don't have to give me a dime. You know why? I don't remember when my dad ever bought me anything. I don't remember. But I do remember all the times he missed special events that I had and certain things. I remember that. And it's because he
Mm-hmm.
held on so long because my mom left him. He held on so long with feelings.
Right.
Cutie. But yeah, he held on for so long with his feelings against my mom, and he allowed it to roll over into our lives.
Right.
And it's not fair, but I always tell people, you know, when it comes to kids, you, whenever you're upset with that parent or whatever the case may be, leave those feelings out, because I'm gonna allow you to have your own perception of your father. I'm not gonna build it for you. I'm gonna allow you to do it yourself. But
Right.
people are so angry at whatever that person did, rather, even if they weren't in a relationship, even if it was just a fling, and a baby came out of the situation, and now they're mad because you won't make it more than what it was in the beginning, which is just reality. It was just that, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you won't make it more, but instead of you just coming as an adult with each other, hey, look, at the end of the day, we made a baby. Let's make the best out of this situation. Let's do it for the goodness of our kids. You know, why is it so hard?
Well, I think for one, because it's a lot to unpack in what you were saying. So I think for one, um, it's a control factor.
Oh, yeah.
And on one side of it, right, because you mentioned your friends saying that they don't want to see them, give me that. They don't want to see them move on, which
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Even if you're the person that made the mistake and then they've moved on, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to switch gears and understand what's the most important piece of that now as you're moving forward in the other part of your life, their life, and when it comes to your children that you share.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because even for him, you don't want to see them move on, and there are other people who use certain things and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the kids are always going to be in the middle of the plot for whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's funny that you say that because it's like I created a shirt that says a bad partner does not equal a bad dad, right?
Mm.
Because they're not mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, no matter who's on either side of it, you'll treat the person like you mentioned already. You'll treat them according to the partner that they were or weren't,
Mm-hmm.
and then totally disregard the fact that this person is the mother or the father of your kid or kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll treat them as such instead of, okay, that might not have been the best partner, but they're still someone who is a active parent or
Mm-hmm.
a very involved parent or a very loving parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we can never distinguish the two, and it's like we wrap all of that underneath one, and that's unfair.
Right.
Um, so many emotions, so many things that come from it. And I just feel as people, that's why we have to continue to grow and do our parts in evolving, because we continue to keep these generational curses going.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're so wrapped up in what the other person is doing or not doing, or trying to drag them through the mud and make the kids not like them,
Mm-hmm.
that these kids are missing out on true relationships with both parents.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that I know, and studies show it, and I'm sure a lot of adults on this line know it, and there are a lot of kids who, when they grow up, they'll say it, that things have been so messed up because of the things that they witness, or they're continuing to carry burdens of things that they shouldn't have to,
Right.
and it's very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it shouldn't be that way. I wish and the other thing that I thought, and I heard you say that you see other people, doing it from other cultures. I've seen a lot of people struggle across the board, but it does seem like in our culture,
Mm-hmm.
we struggle with it heavily
Mm-hmm.
because the emotions are so high, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because we're so busy trying to prove to people why he was bad or why she was
Mm-hmm.
bad, that time is just passing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I can hear you.
Hello?
Oh, I can
Yeah,
hear you
so
now.
uh they're witnessing bad behavior,
Mm-hmm.
and it just, all it does is take for two people to be on the same page in order for them to get to that point where they're gaining that trust, and they make it all about the kids, as it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very tiring, especially when that's just one part of it. But when you start, like how you just mentioned, there are people out here that's like, well, if you ain't do this or give me this or do that, then I'm not gonna allow you to see your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's the pawn of it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, if we can really get into a space, man, and focus on what we need to focus on, man, we'll have a much healthier generation moving forward. Because the other part that's interesting too is there are a lot of people that can't parent together. So it's not just a co-parenting thing. There are a lot of people that are in relationships with people that
It's not
have kids,
healthy.
and they can't get on the same page when it comes to how they're raising their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot that comes with that. And then I remember too, when I was on here with Miss Banks a couple weeks ago, she said something strong too, because she said it's not just co-parenting, it's also co-housing. So that's
Oh
another
yeah.
thing that's very strong too, because think about this: a lot of people that may be able to, co-parent or do okay, but if your values aren't the same, if your
Ooh,
morals
speak.
aren't the same, if your principles aren't the same, then
Mm-hmm.
it still might be challenging for your child growing up
Mm-hmm.
when you're not on the same page across the board.
Mm-hmm.
So if the kids go to bed at 9:30 at my house, then they probably should be going to bed at
Go to
9:30
bed.
at your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, for example, like, so I'm vegan, right? My kids, when they go elsewhere, they're eating everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to put that pressure on them for things like that. But from a discipline standpoint, from a take a shower before you go to bed standpoint, brush your teeth, make sure you make your bed up in the morning, like going to bed at a certain time. When they
Mm-hmm.
get home, first thing they should be doing is doing their homework. We don't got
Right.
time to play games and doing all that stuff, man. It's all important. And I feel that that's another thing that's missing,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you feel like you might be on the same page co-parenting, you're not necessarily on the same page when it comes to how you handle at the house,
Correct.
or how you discipline, or how you do other things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big part of how how these kids are raised and what, you know, determines the positive. What's wrong with mama? The positive growth that they can have by just being on the same page, because structure is so important for these kids. It's very
Right.
important for kids. And the reason why I wanted to make sure that I also talked about it being a parenting thing is because I've seen people, even though they're married together or whatever their situation is, and mama, that's why kids will play off each parent in the same house.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like mama say one thing, they might have heard them arguing about some stuff because they ain't on the same page, and then they go right upstairs and be like, "Daddy, can I do?" You know what I'm saying? So they finding a way too to kind of nitpick and get in between both of y'all as well.
Right.
And it's just important, and I wish that we all understood the responsibility that comes with when you decide to have kids. Yes, you are important, but it's not about you anymore the way that it once was.
Yeah. Your
Now
life goes on the
that doesn't mean people can't live their lives.
right.
That's not me saying that, you know, your significant other isn't important, or that your personal whatever. What I'm sorry about that. Hello?
Oh yeah, I can see you now.
There we go. I'm sorry about that. So
Oh, that's
that's
fine.
not me, you know what I'm saying? That's not me saying that the other person isn't important or anything like that. That is not where I'm coming from. But at the same time too, it just comes with a responsibility when you either make a decision to bring
Mhm.
world or whatever happens, and you decide to move forward in the child being a part of this world. They didn't ask to be here.
Right.
You know, and I feel that there's so. You gonna do this right now? And I feel that I feel that a big part of. What do you want? Give me 1 second, Queen.
See you fine.
I feel that a big part of, you know, us in life in general is we don't know how to put other people first.
Right. That's
We're
selfish.
we're in such a self-serving uh, era, or whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
that we're only thinking about ourselves, and we're not putting our kids first. Even, and here's the other thing, right? That still doesn't negate the parents who are for real single parents, and the other parent is either nowhere to be found, the other parent is either dead or something tragically happened.
Mm-hmm.
That parent still has a responsibility to make sure that they put that child first.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of mothers, there's a lot of fathers who are living their best life. They got all the latest and greatest. They making sure that they traveling and doing this and doing that. Meanwhile, these kids ain't doing nothing but getting older.
Right.
And they not investing. They not doing, you know, the things that properly need to be done to make sure that your kid has everything that they need. Most parents, when they think of everything that they need, it's like, well, they got food, they got water, they got shelter, they got clothes. That's surface level.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, you know what I'm saying, we're forgetting about the main piece, and that's these kids that need love. They need
That's it.
somebody to be present. You know what I'm saying? That's how you feel? You sleepy? Okay. Okay. All right, then this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch it up. So that's the part that they forgetting about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, you know, in your case or mine or whoever, you know, it's just about refocusing and putting everything where it needs to be. And that's making sure that these kids are good.
Right.
Making sure that these kids got everything that they need and that the time is being taken to tend to their needs.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's very much important, man. We got to put down our pride. We got to put down our ego and do whatever's necessary when it comes to that. I hear you because it does seem like it is a culture thing, but I've also seen
Oh yeah.
I've also seen it be nasty on the other side of it too.
I know that.
And it's across the board, and it's like it's nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And people are so busy fighting and so busy trying to make the other one look this way or
Mm-hmm.
whatever
You're missing the.
that we're missing it, man. We're missing it, and these kids are suffering, and they're going through their own mental, emotional breakdowns and everything else, and then we wondering why they're going through the things that they're going through. Why are they so upset? Why are they hurting each other? Why are the kids reverting to drugs, sex, or alcohol? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they? And again, this is no shade to the gangs or whatever, but you know, still we got a lot of kids and people that's joining because they're searching. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking for family. You know what I'm saying? So it's just so many things that are happening that because we're not taking the time to be aware, we're
Mm-hmm.
pushing our kids to other places too.
Right.
Now another issue I have, because this is a loaded question. You unloaded a lot. And it's just making me, as I continue to talk, just think about a few things. There's also, and I said this before too, there's also the parents um, and that's a good point right there. I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. There's also the parents who have the active mom or the active dad, but you're trying to force, right? Because if people do move on, then you try to force your kids upon the new person that you're with and vice versa.
And I'm glad you said that because I have one question. I hear a lot of people say this and I don't understand. If I move on, why do I have to get permission from you for whoever I decide to move on with? Like, for instance, you move on with another woman and I say, well, I got to meet her first. I got to approve her first. Why? This is not your life. This is my life. Why do you have to approve of someone first before, you know what I mean? Why?
That's a fair question. So look at it
Control.
this way. It's not so much of the approval, it's about the respect. Because I want you to remember something too, and I'm going to actually talk about this next week with a therapist. Do you know how many people, right? Because I've seen videos, I've seen research, I've had my own fair share of stories that I'm going to tell next week.
Mm-hmm.
These women are moving on with these men,
Mm-hmm.
and molestation is happening,
Right.
sex abuse is happening,
Mm-hmm.
sex trafficking is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole bunch of stuff that comes with that. Same thing and that doesn't exclude the men who move on with women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because we may not hear about these stories per se, or we may not hear about them on a daily, does not mean that it's not happening.
Right.
So it's not that the person is saying I need to approve of who you with. It's just about the fact of it's a respect thing. And I just want to be comfortable and know, like, hey, I understand you're going to be around my child or vice versa, right? But since this is going to be a village, if you need me for anything, let's just keep the lines of communication open.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you know what I'm saying? We can be able to discuss whatever and handle it as such. So it's not, like I said, it's not about they're trying to get approval, but you still want to know who's going to be around your child. You want to feel good about that.
Right. And I'm not saying that some people truly, yes. They genuinely want to know, because I don't want to know because whoever you be with, who you be with, but I want to know who you have around my child so I feel comfortable. You're right. Now, some people do it for all the wrong reasons. It's not that you just, you know what I mean? You're doing it for all the wrong reasons, but it's like, somebody can put on a facade. I can show you this side of me, but then around your kids that can't really talk, I can show this side. You know what I mean? It's even if I show you who I am, you're only going to see what I show you. So I'm going to show you my best, but I can really, in reality, be completely different.
You can, but that's also the reason why you still have to have your own relationship with your kids.
Right. Because
they have to feel comfortable coming to you and talking to you. And that's why that is so important, because I'm big on that. I think that's dope when people, and here's the other thing too. Like I said, this is such a loaded topic, right? For one, you have people who bring all kind of people around your kids. I don't agree with that. That's not a good look across the board for many reasons, right? I think that if it's somebody that you're really going to be serious about, or you're thinking that way about, then absolutely.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with it, because it's not about an ego thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problems with, in my situation, whatever the mothers choose to do, but just let me be involved. Like, don't be on no bullshit when it comes to that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that that's something that's bad or overly crazy to ask for, and the rules apply on the flip side.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, you know what I'm saying? It's such a controlled thing. The pride and the ego step in, and then it's like, I ain't got to do shit, and this, that, and the third, and da 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 da. And it's like, yo, it's about these kids, because a lot of times us, whether it's the man or the women, we don't know who the hell we dating. We don't know what they got going on. Mm-hmm. And you sitting up here, opened your door to somebody who's now around your kids. Then you trust them enough, you leaving them with your kids.
Oh, never.
Then there's some shit jump off, because I remember this one video on Instagram, man. This girl was 16 years old telling her mom, like, yo, you leaving me with this dude. This dude be coming up in my room. He be touching on me, all kind of shit going on. And the mom cussed her out, like, you just want my man. What's wrong with you?
I'm going to prison. Oh, no.
I'm like, what? Like, but I feel you, but a lot of women ain't thinking like that.
You're right.
Just like you feel me? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen on our side of things, but I don't hear those stories as much, because again, most of the kids are with the moms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is the women don't know these men really not that good as they think they do. Especially if you, and I'm gonna be totally transparent, most of these women, and then when they move on, they just getting dick down real good, so they cool with it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So they not really thinking about who they really talking to, or who they really dealing with, or just because somebody got some status or whatever the case may be, they so caught up in the matrix, they not thinking about these kids. Yep. They not thinking about what they're going through. And you gotta be transparent, and you gotta be honest with what you have going on. Like, it's important, man. These kids don't deserve to be here. And because the numbers keep rising on abuse, the numbers keep rising with kids getting missing or sex trafficked or whatever, that they not paying attention. Look at this one, gone. They not paying attention, you know what I'm saying, to what's going on and who around their kids. Shit, you can't even leave your kids around some of your family members. Let's be 100. Let's be 100. You can't even do that around the family members, and yet you're going to sit up here and just freely bring some new person around your kid and not really do your due diligence in order to, check on them or their spirit or what they got going on. That ain't it.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? Shannon said, my ex and I still have family meetings every couple of weeks to check in with each other with what's happening in both of our lives and what's going on with our son. I think that's dope.
Very.
I think that's dope that people can be on that, because the problem is everybody's so concerned about um everybody's so concerned about how things look, and I don't need you in my business, and don't worry about what's going on over here. And it's not about that. I think that here's a word you don't hear often, right? Adulting.
Ooh.
And what adulting really means. And you can be in a relationship, your business can still be private, but you can be on the same page with somebody you had children with, and they could be in a relationship that's healthy and their business be private. But when y'all come together, you do it for the kids.
Right.
Because the other part is too, right? The kids shouldn't only see the parents come together when it's a sporting event or when it's graduation. Like and it's just me, I feel that every blue moon, there should be a whole gathering. It should be meals cooked. It should be
Hello.
going to movies. It should be meeting at the park. You know, I also think too that even if you do something together as a group, that those kids need to see the parents do something together on behalf of the kids.
Right.
And that's just my opinion. Like, it's just healthy across the board. And that doesn't mean that anything crazy has to be going on. That doesn't mean anything out of bounds has to be going on. But these kids deserve to see that.
Right.
Like, the kids deserve to see that. It's not gonna kill anybody that if you and yours are in a relationship and y'all got your own stuff going on, that every now and then y'all took y'all's kid out to eat so they can just see y'all be cool and interact.
Right.
I don't think nothing is wrong with that. I don't think nothing's wrong if y'all decide to take the kid to the movie or go for a walk in the park.
Right.
Like, for them to see you only when it's something that's for the gram, sporting events, or just shit like that, like that. Everybody can put on for that type of stuff.
Right.
But to go the extra mile to sit down with your kid together and ask your kid together how they're feeling, how he or she's feeling, is there anything that y'all can do to make the experience better?
Right.
Those are the things that matter, man. And the kid, when they see that and they feel that, how much more confidence do they have?
Right.
How much more will they be willing to succeed because they know that they have resources, they know they have support, they know they have love. Half the reason why a lot of these kids ain't talking or saying anything is because of the bullshit going on at home. So then when some shit do jump off, right? If they are in some real trouble, if your daughter gets touched or if your son goes through some real shit and then they don't come to you, it's because they don't feel comfortable because of what's going on. And I really want us to get to a point, man, where adulting is fun, is dope, is much needed. You know what I'm saying? Shit to see.
Right.
And we don't see it enough. And then when we do see it, then it comes packaged in something different because people are putting on as if they have it all together, man. And then when some stories and some shit come out, it's like it lets the air out the bag. Like, everybody like, damn, man, not another one.
Right.
And it's hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right. Stop. It's the putting pressure on your kids to try to make a decision. You know what I mean? Like a 6-year-old, you got to decide, like, okay, mommy's right, daddy's right. It's like you're trying to make your kid decide. And I always tell people, whatever you do, I don't try to argue in front of my kids. Sometimes it might happen, but you try your best not to. Even if it's to the mother of your kids or to the father of your kids, you try to have as much respect for them in front of them because you want them to know that regardless of what we have going on, I'm never going to let you see it. Like, I'm never going to let you see that this happened, because that's beyond us. It doesn't matter about all that. Like, once we're done with each other, whatever the case may be, it's no longer that. Once the kid comes into the picture, the rest of that doesn't matter anymore. What you did, what I did, what we didn't do, what we did do, none of that matters anymore. It's all about the child. And it's hard that, or it makes you wonder, like, why is it so hard for people to realize, like, the bigger picture is your kid. At the end of the day, that's the bigger picture. Regardless of how you look at it, that's the bigger picture. And it's like accountability. Okay, I can hold myself accountable to know that it's ways that I probably could have been a better co-parent at times. I could be accountable and say, yeah, I know it's ways it could. But you learn how to be that good co-parent, because at the end of the day, you look at your child and you realize how much your child truly, truly struggles with just knowing that their parents are just like hate each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up developing, like, if you're with me at all times, my son, if you're with me at all times, and you know how much I hate your father, guess what's going to start happening? Those feelings are going to start rolling into him, and without validation, he's just going to start hating his father. And
See,
it's
I don't think parents, right? I don't think
real.
mothers or fathers recognize the power of even just their energy,
Mm-hmm.
and how much weight that carries, man, because the older these kids get and now they're seeing that,
Mm.
it makes it so much harder. And then the other thing that I don't think parents realize is you did all this shit at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they get older and then your kids
Ooh.
start resenting you
Yep.
because now they see the truth and can really understand it. A lot of parents wonder why they go through hell, man, when they get older.
Mm-hmm. And why their kids don't pick up the phone to call them anymore.
I'm telling you, it's a hard thing, man. It's a hard thing, and it's so unfortunate. And not only with that, man, us as parents, man, we got to just continue to do our part and not focus on what the other person is doing, because some people are just difficult.
Right.
And if that's the case, just well, first of all, it don't matter how good or bad the situation is. Just focus on what you can do and what your part is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And as long as you do your part and you're good with that, and you can look yourself in the mirror and say, "Damn it, I did the best that I could do,"
Mm-hmm.
then be good with that. But a lot of times, man, people are placing blame on what they're doing and how they're moving because of what the other person is doing, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying? Like your spirit and how you move, man, is authentic. People gonna fuck with it, or they gonna leave you alone,
Right.
or you gonna attract like-minded people. So if you on some BS, you gonna hang around folks, and the majority of your circle gonna be on that same BS with you.
Right.
That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Hold on, we got it. All depends on the situation between the mom and dad. Not everyone is healthy to be around each other. Is never gonna put. I'm never gonna put my child back in an uncomfortable situation. That's real. And like I was just saying, like there are gonna be situations, man,
Well, you can't.
where one it's hard because one person may be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, just do your part. It's gonna be difficult. You can try to protect and keep them out of harm's way all you want, man. You can't control everything. You just gotta do your part.
Mm-hmm.
I asked my kids tonight, we were sitting at the table eating dinner, and I said, if I treated you the same way you treat me, would you be okay with that? Boy, them answers was shocking.
Mm.
Because it's an accountability thing.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that I'm also big on too is, like, aside from co-parents, and I just got to sneak this in real quick because we still talking about our kids. Unfortunately, you'll teach your kids how to treat you if you allow them to be on some bullshit with you.
Mm.
So one example is my second oldest daughter, Hayden, right? Hayden does not call me. She won't text me really, like, no nothing. And I asked her, I'm like, yo, like if I did you like that, because there was already a situation that happened a couple months ago. I'm not gonna go into too much detail on that, but I I didn't I didn't reach out to them for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because up until that point, every day I did not miss a day without calling or texting to let all of them know how much I love and miss them, whether I was with mom or not with mom. That was like a routine thing.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of her remembering that, the only thing she remembers is what I didn't do.
Mm.
And then I said to her, like, if I do you the same way, would you be okay with that? Because I'm also showing you how to treat me because I'm sitting up here calling and reaching out every day. You're used to that, so that's what you now expect.
Right.
But maybe we should try to test it out and see what you really thinking and how this really gonna go. And sometimes you might have to do that to get your kids to understand, man. Like you gotta be thankful, man. Like I tell people for real, like unless you're in a position where you're really okay with people being missing and out of your life, man, this world is crazy right now, man. We
Right.
need help, healing. It's so much pain and everything going on. We done had hella shootings in Atlanta. Shit, the last week and a half, it's just been multiple situations going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember crying to my kids, like I was in tears, angry after the whole thing that happened, that tragedy that happened with Cole.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yo, this man is damn near like a superhero, man, and
Mm-hmm.
passed young.
Mm-hmm.
And you got family, you got mothers, you got fathers, you got grandmothers, grandfathers who are picked up because the parents aren't there. You got people who are fighting for these kids, man, and they will give you their ass to kiss.
Mm.
So not only is it from a parent standpoint or a co-parenting standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
it's also the fact that even if you're doing everything in your powers for these kids, they still can give zero F's
Woo.
and put you in a box and treat you as such.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
And you said something that was so important earlier when you said about when raising kids when you have two different outlooks. So it's because of course I was raised one way, you were raised another way. I have these values, you have these values. I have these morals, you have these morals. So when we come together to try to parent, you might be like, oh well, when I was a kid, my mom let me stay up all night. Okay, when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, my mom told me I had to be in the bed by 8:30. So you can't even come to a mutual agreement about something that small. You know what I mean? It's well, how is yours right and mine's wrong? You know, and or my mom let me have this, or my mom let me stay the night with whoever. I don't play the fiddle. When it comes to my daughters, I don't. I don't let them stay the night with people. I don't. People say I'm harsh on them. That's fine with me. I can be harsh, but I'm not letting my kids stay the night with random people, friends. I just don't do it. Their grandmother, yes. Other people, my sister, yeah. Other people, no. It's just how it is. But because I believe in this is how I'm supposed to raise a kid, and you believe this is how you're supposed to raise a kid, then that's when you bump heads a lot. You bump heads because you think that your way of raising a child is right. And I think my way of raising a child is right. And that's where you bump heads. That's why I tell people everybody can have kids, but everybody can't be parents together.
That's a big fact. And if I may, right, because you're making a great point. For one, it's perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, neither one of y'all are wrong,
Right.
right? When you learn how a person grew up and their mindset, it helps you not be as upset with how things are going. Now, here's my issue because you still have to find a middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up the way I grew up, and I'm big on I'm big on what you put in is what you get out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a parent that one parent the kids go to bed early and at the other house they go to bed whenever they want, oh, time gonna tell what's really going on
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna show in how they produce. It's gonna
Right.
show in the grades. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
show in their behavior. It's gonna show in all of that. So you can try it your way,
Mm-hmm.
and then when things ain't going the way that you feel they should be going, or you frustrated, right? Then that should be where another conversation should be had. Like, look, we have to do we have to find a middle ground on what's gonna be the best way to go about this bedtime thing. Because the kids are doing this or they're going through this or they're going through that. You can't get away from that. And to be
Mm-hmm.
real, the other part that's crazy, there's information out there that talks about why it's important for kids to rest, why it's important for them to eat good or drink water or do this, that, and the third. Because even as adults, we're supposed to be, getting the right amount of fluids, you know what I'm saying? Like eating as healthy as possible or making sure that we get rest.
Mm-hmm.
So why in the hell wouldn't that be important for a kid to do that?
Right.
So that those are some of the things that can kind of help the argument per se whenever you're having this back and forth. And unfortunately, there are so many parents that try to be on some I'm grown, you can't tell me what the fuck to do, that they miss it. And you're
Mm-hmm.
making it about you and you're not making it about the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So now your kids are suffering because you on some BS and you're so worried about proving your point or putting your foot down or can't nobody tell you nothing. And then you wonder why your son done got somebody pregnant, or why he done got in some trouble, or why his grades, you know what I'm saying, are falling the way that they falling, or why your daughter keep talking back to you, or why y'all keep arguing, or why she's sneaking out the house and doing what she want to do. It's because you had the chance to nip it in the bud when she was 4, when she was 5. You had a chance to talk to him when he was 6, when he was 7, and now
Mm-hmm.
you got to deal with this monster at 14, 15.
Yep.
And listen, I don't claim to be the parenting guru. That's not what I'm on here trying to promote. I'm just trying to have a healthy conversation and create dialogue to bring things to the forefront, to have people that whatever you're going through in your personal, it just
Mm-hmm.
makes you think about it. And in that way, you can figure out a way to be healthy, to be
Right.
healthy because it's important. Dev had a great point. With family counseling is not just for married couples. That can also help with opposing values. People need to be comfortable with therapy, especially when the kids are struggling. Absolutely.
Right.
We ain't even touched on the therapy piece yet, and I was gonna go there, but I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you brought it up because that's a very good point. Because that's another thing that is important to help bridge this gap. Because if you can't do it, make sure that you put yourself in the best position to make the family succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out here, man, they balling. They look like they having the time of their life, man. Kids ain't doing what they supposed to do in school.
Mm-hmm.
They struggling. Then they got to argue with them at home and do all this other shit, man. It's weak as hell, and I see it every day. I see it every day, man. Everybody's page is popping. Everybody look like they having the best time and doing this, man. And even them people, man, y'all suffering inside, man. Cut it out.
Right.
Y'all so focused on trying to be 100 and look perfect, man. And not only are you letting yourself go, but then you're failing the people that need you the most.
Right.
These kids did not ask to be here, man.
Mm-hmm.
And this life ain't about perfection. I'm flawed.
Right.
I got my own shit with me. I'm
Right.
gonna be the first to admit. I'm gonna be the first to hold myself accountable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be the first to go ahead and say that because it ain't no shame when it come to me. Like I'm proud of who I am and where I've come from, man. I've been through a hell of a journey, and I'm still trying to figure it out. That's a part of being a student.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of being a student, because if you really want to be better, you'll do better. You'll try. You'll give it your
Right.
all. Everything that you'll do, you'll give it your all, and that's
Mm-hmm.
all anybody can ask for. The Most High, that's all He can ask for. Just give it
Right.
your all, but trust me in the process. Okay, God, I trust you. You got it.
Right.
But we make so many excuses, man, and these babies are just suffering. And time again, like certain topics can't never get old. Co-parenting is one of them. Parenting is one of them.
Right.
Communication is one. But because they're so deep, and it's so much that's involved in them that you can't ignore how important it is to really truly understand the value in each one of those topics, in each one of those particular areas. Like co-parenting should, like people should be like, it should be talked about over and over again. Because
Right.
you also got to remember too, as the child gets older, things are changing. So
Right.
you have to change with the times too.
Right.
Like at one point in time, it's funny because I got this one at 7 months all the way up to 14. And obviously I got to connect with everybody different.
Right.
And I was joking with my 14-year-old because when this one was on the ground, when she was up earlier, she was like, she saw me and she took off crawling to me. And I was being petty, but I was joking with Patience about it. And I said, I know, baby girl, your older sister used to do me the same way. And she made this face like, whatever. So I'm like, shit, Patience, come give me a hug. You feel
Mm-hmm.
me? I ain't like, it's all good.
Right.
But it's just finding a way to tap in, man, because the job never stops. So even us as parents, you still gotta be on the same page when they 1, 5, 12, because everything's going on. The conversations are changing, right? I'm talking about sex.
Right.
I'm talking about drugs. I'm talking about peer pressure. I'm talking about all of these things. I got a high schooler. I got a middle schooler. I got an elementary. Little man ain't in school yet, and obviously this one, the world deserves.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? It's a conversation that's forever going. And now that these kids have access to these phones, now you got to talk about things that you may not want to talk about. And
Mm-hmm.
and the other thing too, for anybody that's listening, because this has happened to me. If there is a serious situation, do not keep the other parent out of it.
Woo.
Even if it happens at your house. Do not keep the other parent out of what the fuck is going on with the child, especially because it's all important.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be that parent holding secrets and like, no, don't let your dad know. No, don't let your mom know. No,
Mm-hmm.
I got it because it's happening at my house. No, y'all got to get past whatever you got going on and attack that thing together.
Right.
I'm so tired of that. I'm so tired of seeing people be kept out of the loop, man. And then when some real shit jump off, now you want the other parent to be involved, and it's already too late. They don't know what's going on, and the whole time they could have been helping out. It ain't just a dad's thing; it's a mom's thing too. There's some
Mm-hmm.
dads out there that's probably like, "Don't tell your mama, nah, bro. That shit
Oh,
lame. Tell your mama."
why would
Matter
you?
of fact, she need to come over here, and we need to all talk about this.
Right. As a family.
Because I don't want there to be no miscommunication. I don't want the message to be chopped and screwed or however. No, I want us
Mm-hmm.
all to be on the same page because we need to figure out what we need to do for our son. We need to figure out what we need to do for our daughter or whatever the situation is. That's
Right.
why it's important for the parents to be on the same page.
And put feelings to the side.
Put it to the side, man. We don't have time. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that, and it's unfortunate, man. But
Feel
I appreciate you reaching out, Queen, and wanting to jump on this topic, man. It's a heavy one, and this ain't the last time we're gonna have this one. We're gonna have to come back to it because I'm sure there'll be some new whatever, and some more, situations that people got on their mind. It's important.
Right. I agree with you, and I'm gonna end it to say, I always tell people there's no book on how to be a parent. There's no book. I don't care what people tell you. This worked for them. With having 4 kids, I have 4 kids with 4 different personalities. What worked for the 18-year-old doesn't work for the 9-year-old. What works for the 10-year-old doesn't work for the 15-year-old. That's just how it is. With discipline and how you spend the time with them, and some of them want the extra time, some of them doesn't. There's no book on how to be a parent. You're gonna have a lot of fuck up. That's just it. I always tell my first child, I'm sorry, you were a guinea pig. I apologize, but I had to learn with you. I just had to. So it's a part of like not holding yourself to where you weren't a perfect parent. There's no perfect parents. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no perfect parents. There's no perfect kids. But just be an adult to understand that because every kid is a different way, you have to form yourself around each kid. You know what I mean? And so hold yourself to a higher standard so you can make sure that, hey, my kids know that just because I give A more time than B is not intentional. It's just because B needs me more than A did at the time, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So,
Right. Leave us with a good word, Queen. I know you was touching on some stuff, but go ahead and leave us with something.
I'm just gonna say this because, and it's the reason why I wanted to touch so much on co-parenting. Like you said, put all the bullshit to the side. That's just the truest thing. I don't care. You hurt me, I hurt you. Pull that to the side. Leave the feelings go. Let it alone. Care if you hurt me, I hurt you. Let's just come together at the end of the day for our kid. Our kid needs us most. Not only when your child is young, your child also needs you at 14, 16, 18. Hell, your kid needs you more actually when they become an adult. They need you more now because they lost. They don't know how to be an adult. You taught them how to be a kid, how to be a teenager. Now nobody really taught them how to be an adult. So at the end of the day, just make it about your kids. Put all the other stuff to the side. Who cares about all that? It doesn't really matter. Put your kid first. Put your feelings to the side. Put your pride to the side. Put your kid first. You got to be mature about the whole entire situation and leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate it, Queen, and I'm gonna be right behind you, and I'm gonna say, know what we doing and know why we doing it.
Right.
Understand what is important, or excuse me, understand who is important. And again, as I talked about it earlier, that does not mean you're not gonna live your life and do what you do in your household. I'm not here to tell nobody none of that. If you want to trick off, travel, do whatever you do, cool. But don't forget about your kids in the process. And be on the same page with the person that you made the kids with. And this ain't just for my co-parenting people. There's a lot of y'all in relationship and you can't get on the same page with your significant other when it comes to making decisions with your kids. So don't think you exempt from this. It's important to parent, it's important to co-parent, and it's important to co-house. It's important to have a home that's all aligned. And I hate to see people making these excuses and how they moving, and the ego is so heavy, the pride is so heavy because you're not gonna let nobody tell you what to do with your kids. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Because I tell you who'll tell you what to do with your kids. That judge, in case any of them get in front of them. Don't let it have to be a situation where them doctors gonna have to holler at you.
Hello.
Don't let it be a situation where a teacher done had to call you because, you know what I'm saying, they ain't doing right, or they falling behind when your ass should be attentive when you got your kids and doing what you're supposed to do.
All right.
So we got to come off of that, good people. I'm all about living your life, man. I'm all about having a good time, vibes, everything. I just get frustrated seeing the kids suffer and go through it because they shouldn't.
All agree.
They should love your kids, man, and it's real. Like, I thought it was some bullshit whenever they say it takes a village. They are not bullshitting.
Yes, it does.
It does take a village. Jamie, that's a great point. It does take a consistent parent too, but it definitely takes a village, man. Anybody that's in your kid's life, man, everybody has to be on the same page. It ain't even just about the significant others. Y'all make sure y'all checking in with y'all school, like the kids, teachers, the principals, or whoever. Check in. Make sure y'all on the same page too.
Mm-hmm.
It's important, man. Don't get it twisted. This is not about showing your ass or saying who the boss is. It's about your kids getting what they need out of life. And that's it.
Right.
And I appreciate you, Queen. It was powerful, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for your transparency. Thank you for your vulnerability.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we'll keep this thing going, man, and we'll tap in. Y'all make sure y'all slide in your boy DMs, man. Shoot me a message or something, man, and let me know. You know what I'm saying? Like what y'all want to keep talking about, man, and we'll keep mashing the gas on it. Love to all, man. All right, Queen.
All right.
Yep. Blessings, good people. You know what I'm saying? I hope tonight was something that we all, got fed. I'm gonna say that after every one of them because we be touching on stuff, man. So y'all make sure y'all shoot me. Oh shit. Y'all make sure y'all shoot me. It's okay, Mama. Y'all make sure y'all shoot me a message, man, so we can keep talking and discussing the stuff that we need to discuss. Keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. Be blessed. For real. Keep going with this good fight. Bless you, Mama.
I'm coming. Hi, Dad.
But ain't y'all supposed to be asleep?
No. We don't have school tomorrow. Yeah, we got to party. We're playing.
You think I care y'all ain't got to school? Take y'all out to sleep.
Dad.
No. Good night.
Good night.
Let's get it.
Hi, baby. Oh, dang, I almost flew off.
Hey. Off.
I am off.
Let's go.
Bye. Let me give a hug to Arabella.
Love y'all. Good night.
Give me a hug to Arabella.
Oh shit! I'm still on here.
What did you give her, Beth?
No. Yeah. Good night, good people.
Night.
Love you.
Love you. Want to go to bed?
I'm still on here. I'm tripping. I thought I cut this thing out. Let's go. Are you sleeping in here?
Apparently. Ew, her hair's wet. Why?
Look.